Hello, everyone. This is JD Calderon, and this is Indy Comics Explained yet again. I brought another fantastic group of independent comic book creators. And without further ado, I'm just going to bring them all on. But please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video. It's been a couple weeks. I'm a little, a little bit out of it. But I got this guy back with me to, of course, rub it in my face.
What up, brother? What's going on, Streamland? How is everything going so far this year for you?
That for good? Myself, everything it was fine. It was fine. It was great. Everything's good.
I mean, we're only 7 days into the new year. Hopefully nothing's gone bad yet, right? You haven't gotten beaten up chasing any cups down at Starbucks or anything, right? So you're okay.
Beaten up chasing any cops?
Cups.
Why would I chase a cup?
Oh, dude, that's the whole trending thing right now so far this year, brother. It's those resale value cups that are going for boku bucks on the aftermarket at Target. People are waiting online for the Target to open up, like brand new concert tickets are going out.
I thought it was all about still crypto, so I don't even know what you're talking about, man.
No.
But anyway, let's bring on the Coco. Maybe have something more relevant to talk about.
Hey, look at that! See, we're getting Damion from prison after he stole a bunch of cups from Target. What?
I'm just saying about this. Stanley Cups, man. You gotta get with it. I know where the money is. I like how you keep saying I look like I'm in prison. I'm wearing a Taylor Swift t-shirt.
So you were the one sold for trouble soup.
We're gonna leave that joke there. Nobody gets canceled in 2024.
I love Tay-Tay. I love Tay-Tay, bro.
Me too. I went to the Eras tour. It's great.
All right.
To the tour. Okay. Yeah. Good. All right. I'll just watch it on Amazon. I'm all right with that.
I don't. Okay. Fine. Whatever. All right. So, Damion, introduce yourself real quick, please.
In case you forgot, I've been away a while.
Yes.
My name is Damion Waldbrunn. I am an artist and creator. If you see the word Romer X, that's me. Toys. I used to make toys. I got a website. Go see it. We'll talk about it later.
All right. Mr. Ben, how are you? Please introduce yourself, sir.
Hi there. My name's Ben Tinsley. I'm a film actor, singer, but most importantly, a comic book creator. I write with my son, Jake, who's an adult, and we do Night Owl, and we have separate comics we do as well. This one we're doing is our flagship character, Night Owl, and we got a big old issue packed full of cool, groovy stuff for people who want to read. So
very nice.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Mr. Marcus, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Hey, everyone. I'm here because my Hot Ones interview got canceled after some text messages leaked. So happy to come and hang out with you guys once more on Sunday.
Nice. I don't even understand how I made it. I don't even know how I made it to the B team, but okay, we'll discuss that later. I don't know.
Yeah, this is my A team right here.
I know, but Marcus, he got canceled, so you got to come. Like we were pity. You know what? Forget that guy. Anyway.
All in good jokes here. Just having some fun. But Marcus McNeil, editor-in-chief of Odyssey Comics, and if you guys have seen the show, you've probably seen my mug on here a couple of times. Glad to be back, though, as always.
Very nice to say.
Yes.
Nice.
Your seat here is always reserved. So. Perry, nice to meet you. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Hey, I'm Percival Constantine. Mostly I'm known as a novelist, but I've been lettering at comics for a very long time off and on, and I just came out with my first comic book called Paragons of Earth that I worked on with Thomas DJ and Eric Johns, using a bunch of public domain superheroes and reinventing them. Really great to be here, guys.
Very cool.
Right.
Welcome.
Welcome,
everybody.
All right. And it's last but certainly not least, the man, the myth, the legend.
Almost late. Yeah. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, big guy.
Happy New Year. Randy Zimmerman here, editor-in-chief, Arrow Comics. Been doing comics since the mid-'80s. Currently working on comics and commercial sequential artwork and writing and podcasting. So, yeah, having a good time.
Very cool.
All right, cool. Now, it's been 2 weeks. It's been off the air 2 weeks. Just took a break for the holidays. Had a good time, all that good stuff. Actually, I got a lot of work done. I think Jay had all the good times.
No.
He couldn't even talk to me last Sunday. He was so out of it. Uh, but
Yeah.
or was it Monday? It was Monday.
I don't know. I brought in the new year very nicely, bro. You
I
know,
still have relatives from Christmas upstairs. We just had our Christmas this weekend. So, yeah.
No, it's like, is
Very
it one of
cool.
those things you just can't get rid of them, or
No, it's just trying to coordinate everybody's schedule. It's like,
Gotcha.
well, I can do the weekend after New Year's. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, a lot of stuff's been going on. I've been hearing a lot of arguments over the last 2 weeks about the industry dying, independent, the direct market going away because so many retailers are closing down, Marvel imploding, DC sucking, so on and so forth. And I have come to a conclusion. I really don't care. I just don't care about any of that crap. The only thing I care about is independent comics, what's happening to us, right? And I figured, I want, and I sent all you guys this question. What are your 3 favorite books that you read in the year of 2023? And it doesn't matter if they were comic books, anything. What were the 3 books that you felt, and it didn't have to be made in 2023 either. They could just be, listen, just whatever books, you came across that were in, during that time. Whoa, look at this. We got a super chat. I didn't even know we could get these things.
There you go. Yeah.
Michael, way to be, buddy.
Thank you.
Holy shit.
I think that's the first super chat I've seen on the Indie Comics Network.
This thing is monetized.
Good for them. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, good job, JD.
Who we got a cut?
Yeah.
You'd think we were big time.
Exactly.
Yeah, boy.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. Glad
seriously.
you liked it, brother.
Anyway, so gentlemen, that's the question. What are your 3 favorite books that you read in the year 2023? It didn't have to be made in 2023. It's just, what did you, for the first time, because obviously a lot of books have been written over many, many years. People have been on this planet. What are your 3 favorite books? Randy, let's start with you. You're a big reader.
Oh, yeah. The big thing I've been doing, though, is rereading.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been going back over some of the stuff that I love. I got a couple podcasts now where we go over the stuff that I've enjoyed and other people have enjoyed since comics started, really. So right now we're going over, let me read here. As you say, I have book poops all over the place. But
That's Daphne that made that damn thing up.
we're currently going through Two-Fisted Tales, so the
Nice.
EC line. I got the set of Russ Cochran reprint hardbounds. We're currently going through those 1 issue at a time. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, a lot of other stuff. Halo Jones, we just went through more, and Ian Gibson, because Ian just passed about a month or so ago, and he was a favorite of mine. Really enjoyed that. And I've been reading a lot of Robert E. Howard. So for a project I'm in the middle of right now that we'll have we'll start the campaign for it the 1st of March. So
Nice.
been doing a lot of that. That's reliving a lot of old entertainment that I loved. It's still finding some new stuff here and there. I got an Archie comic about a month or so ago, Archie Digest, just to see the new material that was in it. And just different things. Yeah. But really reliving going through the older stuff. That's for me, that's the pure joy, and rediscovering the stuff that really sparked me in the first place.
On that Archie cover, is that Jughead as Captain Hero?
That is Jughead as Captain Hero.
Awesome.
If you haven't checked out these books, they're at your local grocery store. The little digest books, they're the thing that's kept Archie Comics going all this time. There is 22 pages in the front of this, written by Tom DeFalco, drawn by Ron Friends, and inked by Al Milgram of the Archie superhero characters, old style superhero stories like what you would find.
Very 80s right there, baby.
Yep.
Love that.
Great old stuff by some of the best workhorses in the business,
Kind of 70s too, because I read a lot of that.
Very much. So. But Archie's been throwing a lot of new material in there, especially using the Red Circle Pantheon that they have. It's been real interesting to see, and I'm a big fan of trying to find ways of getting comics out to the masses. And Archie's been doing it for decades, and now it surprises me. I love keeping track of what they're doing because they've gone from doing the super realistic stuff like the Riverdale show, Mark Waid drawing, and somebody trying to be as realistic as possible, to go back to the more fantasy oriented, to the real classic superhero stuff, and the Archies, as they, it's like Dan DiCarlo would have drawn them way back when. So great stuff.
Well, they got on the multiverse bandwagon too a couple years ago with Archie Loves, but just recently to bring all that back, because they were so focused on the realistic stuff. They were like, oh, by the way, this is how it relates to everything else.
Well,
I really dug that. Like, I started reading Archie again because of that.
They're a great company for throwing stuff at the wall to see what's going to stick. Archie meets the Punisher, Archie dead,
I bought that.
Dead Archie, that kind of stuff, just to
Archie
see
versus Predator.
Yeah,
see what they can sell. And you never know what's going to hit, but you got to admire the company that has stayed out there for that long. And like I said, they're still kicking out these digests, so they're still making money at it, or else they wouldn't do it. So
definitely,
I could actually sneak one of those with me on trips when I was a kid because they're so small.
Yes.
They wouldn't let me do Batman, but I could get Archie in there. So,
well, as a kid, those old Walt Disney Comics digests used to keep me sane. And you'd pick them up for next to nothing, and it was really a lot of material, just like the 100-page Super Spectaculars that DC used to do. Just great stuff. Can't go wrong.
This is all a precursor to what the kids are enjoying now, manga.
Yeah.
Right? That's all that was.
Yeah,
we were in pre-training.
Yep.
So Ben.
Yes, sir.
What are your 3 favorite books of 2023, sir?
Okay. This is my son's first major comic. He's been writing with me since 2007, but he did a great job on this. And then in the back, he's got this great glossary of the characters in case it's called Alternative Narratives. It's basically, alternate reality gone berserk as a series, and it's amazing. And actually, copies of this are on sale we have like a little comic book store in the back of whatever we're selling on Kickstarter, so you can go through that and get a copy. While we're on the subject of scattered comics, Dr. Dream, I just actually started reading this. Keith Carmona, it is amazing. It's like those old DC comic Vertigo comics, but it doesn't break your brain trying to understand it. It's an easy read, but it's deep. So I like that. And then I had to go, basic.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I'm nuts about this, and I'm only halfway through it, but I'm just crazy about it. So, yeah, lots of cool stuff.
Nice.
Right, time to be live.
Nice, Marcus. What are your top 3, sir?
This is one that I'm glad you sent the question out before the show because I really had to think about a lot.
Same here.
Yeah, admittedly, I wasn't able to catch up on a lot from last year because, as you guys know, once you get into this publishing game, man, you stay busy. Outside of the scripts that you need to approve and notes and things like that, it's hard to get the time to read up on books. But I did make a concentrated effort to do so. Out of my top 3, I think I would have to say Galarian. The first volume by Charlie Stickney. A lot of folks in the comic space know Charlie, of course. That one was really good, really sticks out to me. I was finally able to catch up on The Last Ronin and get the hardcover edition for that. And that one I really enjoyed. And then Mark Waid's Teen Titans is another one that I've been really enjoying. It's the first time I've been picking up single issues from the big 3 in a long time. That was finding the book to get me back to do it. It's actually kind of a tie between that and World's Finest, but they're in the same proto DC universe and they're spin-offs of each other. So it's all just kind of one big bundle to me. So I guess I would combine the Teen Titans and World's Finest together.
All right, cool. Perry, what are your top 3 you're looking at or enjoyed for 2023?
So kind of like Marcus, most of my year was spent catching up on stuff that I had not read yet. But for me, the big ones were Department of Truth. I read the first 3 books in that series, the first 3 trades by James Tynion IV and Martin Simmons. That was probably my favorite. That was just like, it's an incredibly creative use of conspiracy theories, and it's just, and the art is just breathtaking to look at. It's very creepy to read. Excellent book. Other one was I read the first Radiant Black book by Kyle Higgins and Marcelo Costa. Really dug that. I like Power Rangers back in the day. I live in Japan, so I'm in with the Super Sentai stuff. So it's I really got a nice feel for that, tickled the nostalgia bone a little bit while also doing some interesting stuff. And the last one was Superman Red and Blue. It was an anthology book by a bunch of different creative teams, a bunch of these short stories featuring Superman. Just amazing art, amazing use of red and blue as like the main colors throughout all the stories, and just like a lot of really cool, short little stories about Superman, not tied to continuity or anything like that. And I had a blast reading that book.
Sorry, I knocked myself out. Didn't mean to.
That's all right. I was going to rename you Jay. Nice. Great list, Barry. Damion, what are your thoughts?
Professionally, it's been kind of a rebuild year for me. So I've been trying to go back to two things that I have never read before. I've even foregone my yearly reread of Dropsy Avenue. I'm gonna reread that later this month because I read that once a year.
You said Dropsy Avenue?
Dropsy Avenue. I reread it once a year. It is just, for me, it's seminal reading. Like, you've got to read that at least once in your life. The way people talk about Watchmen, Dropsy Avenue is that to me.
Cool.
But three books, not two, three. First one was and I can't remember the name of it, which helps none, but DC came out with these like mega-sized volumes of Jack Kirby. They did like Absolute Fourth World, and then they came out with a third book that I found at Ollie's, which made me angry because this book should be like in libraries across the country, but it's basically kind of like And the Rest. It's Spirit World. It's all the military stuff that he was doing for them
in the days of the mob.
Yes. Oh,
all of his one shots like Dingbat and Atlas and OMAC. What was OMAC in it?
It was.
Oh, that's got to be a great book.
And it if I find one, I'll get it and give me your address. I'll mail it to you. Because
just tell me what the title is. And let me track it down. Save the postage.
I'm in the middle of moving, so I'll have to find it. But it was so good. I did that for somebody else. I bought them a copy and mailed it to them. I'm like, don't ask me questions. Just read this. The other one I read, the second one I read was I got a Taschen. Am I saying that right? It's an Italian.
Taschen.
They make these oversized books.
Beautiful volumes.
I got X-Men.
There you go.
Because I've rediscovered my love of that. All the 90s and early 2000s hatred of all the new stuff, weird stuff they were doing has burnt away. I finally gotten to a place with the X-Men where I love them again. And so I bought this book for my birthday, and it is, when I say literally a recreation, they went and bought the best copies of those books that exist just to make the film that they shot to print the book. And it's, they spent, that's why it's a $200 book, but it's literally recreation, and the cover paper is different than the interior paper. So you're flipping through it and you've got cover stock, but it's like a really resilient cover stock. It's not like the old school cover stock that could rip easily. Right. It's this really nice texture. You can almost smell the old book, covers, and then these, ads and everything.
Nice.
Sweet.
So you've got these like really beautiful 11x17 size or slightly larger. I think it's 12x19 size Kirby shots. These beautiful pages, but then you've got these. The word has escaped me. What's it called?
The size of the originals, then almost.
Yeah, that's the thing. Much. It's like it's gorgeous. Every once in a while, I'll just read a couple of pages. It just makes me happy.
Yeah. Is it issues through 1 through 15 or something? 1
It's
through
1
20?
through 20.
Gotcha.
Cool.
They have two Spider-Man. They've done Silver Surfer, which is my next one I want. The Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and X-Men. And they were talking about doing an Avengers, but I don't know. That was before, I think, COVID, so I don't know if they're still doing it.
I know they did one.
They did do an Avengers?
I'm pretty sure they did. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's that and Spider-Man were the first two that they did, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, excuse me. Randy's the man. He knows.
I just love this stuff. That's all.
It's so pretty,
I mean,
and it's so just like, oh, I get to keep it.
Yeah, I've never seen one in person, but I've seen them displayed, and they look awesome. Absolutely incredible. It's nice to see them getting that kind of respect from a company, and all that stuff desperately needs to be archived and kept track of.
Yes.
Yeah, the other reprint ones that I really like are the ones coming out of Penguin right now. They've done Captain America, Spider-Man, Black Panther, and I think there's one other one. Those volumes are really, really good too.
Those are the ones with like the two-tone cover. It's like a white and a color.
They have like a gold stamp cover on them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they go through like with the Black Panther stuff, because you know how spotty the original stories are. A couple of Fantastic Four stories, the Jungle Tales, all the Jungle Tales material, and the McGregor Billy Graham material are all in that. It's really nice volume, because I didn't have all that collected in one place. It was really nice to see.
I'll have to get those, because that's kind of my thing now, is to collect those kinds of books. It's like once you get one, it's like, I want to say a disease, but it's like an infection.
You start making a library. Yeah,
you gotta like have them all.
Yep.
Now, this is the third book I read. I'm gonna promote for a friend of mine. It really is, like, I'm not kidding. It really is the third book I read. He would kill me if I didn't talk about it and show the
there
cover
you go. Yep.
on screen. So
who is that guy?
some guy with a fez. I don't know. Oh, Brian.
Oh, not that
Crazy dude.
guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, God.
He sent me a copy. It's sitting right on my TV stand in the living room. I can't wait to get to it. Yeah,
it is awesome. Like, I bought one for my wife. I was like, okay, it's a friend, and that's another thing I'm going to try to do more this year. I haven't been able to contribute a lot to Kickstarters and things, you know, when people are doing their thing, and I really want to do that more. Be more supportive of my industry.
Dude, if you can't. Don't break your neck.
I mean, believe me, I'll do what
you know what I mean? Everybody goes through their moments, brother.
I'll give you $5 if I got $5, but that may be all you get.
No, but I mean, I'm sure we all thank those who are coming out there to support our campaigns, but you know, we gotta understand, man. Times are lean. You know what I mean?
And that's my thing. Is like, there's a couple that I was able to throw like $2 at, just because, you know, we're moving, we bought a new place, where money's tight. So I've been trying to do a couple here and there, and it's
sometimes it's just that $2 that'll
Yeah,
move the algorithm
that-
a little
exactly.
bit. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So-
Because it's a nod, at least, that I see you, I'm here with you, we're all in these trenches together.
I'm
You
saying it's
deserve it.
thankful. You know what I mean? It's appreciated. Excuse me. It's appreciated, you know, but we know a lot. I know if you can't, you can't. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those who were like, oh, you didn't back me with the frog. You
But
know
that's
what I
the
mean?
thing, Jay. That makes me want to do it more.
Yeah. And listen,
that's the thing, is because you've been this way, and you've been very, you know, vocal about that. It's like, you appreciate every penny you get, but you know, you don't expect anything from anybody. That's the mindset that I think some people forget, that every penny's the blessing. Every penny's the you know, because they're believing in our dream.
Right. Yeah.
oh yeah.
And every penny towards that is just like mind blowing. It should be. Should stay that way. We should never get jaded.
Jay's a rich guy, so he's gonna back a bunch of books this year.
Yeah. You're buying me a new car, right?
Jay blew his wad in 2023. That's all I
When
know.
I got out of prison, you're buying me a new car.
Jay fucked himself over in 2023.
Jay, so what are your 3 favorite books in 2023?
All right. Marcus said it. I still got it because this shit is
Oh, that was a
badass,
good one.
bro. The Last Ronin hardcover. Wow. Takes you back to your childhood a little bit, but you know.
Yes, it does.
That almost made my list too.
Yeah, it hurts you at the same time. You know what I'm saying? I saw it at an overpriced chain comic shop. Sorry, and almost picked it up there, but then got it for $17.99 on Amazon. Sorry, folks. Times are lean. Times are lean, right? So there's this bad boy. I got into the Witcher video game very late, and we got the source book over here, the video game source book. It's beautiful. It's a hell of a read. I love the development stuff, the backstory stuff. You know, the extra matter on content. So this is big for me, and I don't have it here because I lent it out because I think it's that damn good of a fucking book. And that was Daniel Warren Johnson's Do a Power Bomb. Holy shit! It was just so far fucking out there, and known for what I know behind the wrestling scenes. And it was like, oh my god, that's there's so many meta jokes to it, and then it made me cry at the end. I was like, god damn, man. If you get a chance, just check it out. Plus, the trade is awesome because it's a soft cover trade. But for the publishing mindset in me, it's got this beautiful matte cover, but then one character shines in this glossy spot on the cover, and then you open it up and it's a blank page, but with the title logo. So you can still get sketch illustrations in the trade, at different conventions. It's a great way to interact with people, even if they bought your book. If they see you at a con, to bring that over. So I want to incorporate that into some of my trades coming out this year. So yeah, those are my three babies for this year, guys.
All right, cool. What's funny is Do a Power Bomb was on my list, but I took it off because I knew you were gonna pick it.
Oh,
no, I knew it's a great book. It really is.
Awesome book, dude.
It's a great book.
It's an awesome book.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to when the trade comes out. Daniel Warren Johnson's Transformers. When that comes out.
I've been picking up the
single issues.
Yeah. Because we got one of them at New York Comic Con, and I was like, oh, okay, this is awesome, and it ended up on my table, and it got me, and it's funny enough, all this time, this is the first Transformer comic book I ever bought.
Even as a kid?
Even as a kid, dude, I never bought it.
Wow.
Yeah, the Transformers. I was more of a G.I. Joe guy than I was a Transformer guy. And the Transformers versus G.I. Joe was gifted to me. The IDW, not the IDW stuff, excuse me, the Udon Studio stuff was beautiful, but I never bought it. And now, and I think it's because of Dual Power Bomb also. Daniel Warren Johnson that led me into getting it anyways.
Yeah. So for my three books, I got three books. There's one that I count as one book because it's all about one guy, Alex Toth. It's the Genius Isolated, Genius Illustrated, Genius Animated. It's the life and art of Alex Toth. Nice. I read all three of those this year. Those are awesome books. If you don't know who Alex Toth is, all I can say to you is give it a try. Look it up. You'll be surprised at what that man did throughout his career and how much he has probably influenced you without you even knowing it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So that's how much work he's done, in and around our business. The other one was Alan Moore's Top 10 Compendium. I picked up DC produced a compendium of Top 10, which was written by Alan Moore. That thing was like, thick enough to choke a dinosaur. It was awesome. And it was the first time I ever really sat down and read the whole thing. I've maybe read one or two issues. Liked it, but kind of forgot it. Sat down, reread it. Really, really enjoyed it.
What was the number one story of Alan Moore's in that compendium?
Top 10. It's all one story. That was the name of the title. That was the name of the series.
I thought you literally. I thought you meant like his top 10.
No. It's literally called Top 10. And then there was the Books of Magic. I picked up the 3 omnibuses or whatever. So I read the first 2, and those are actually really good. Omnibus. Yeah. And then I have an honorable mention, which is Unwritten and 8 Billion Genies. 8 Billion Genies was a lot of fun.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Yeah, that was a great book.
Yeah, and Mike Carey's Unwritten, which was also released as a compendium, which was really good. So there you go, gentlemen. That was my 2023, and it was tough to pick out because I had a lot of stuff on that list. Go ahead, Damion. What were you gonna say?
The Bronze Age Omnibus. That was the name of the first book I mentioned, the Kirby book.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, believe me, it's at Ollie's. You can get it for like $30-$40.
Ollie's rotates and changes stock so much it's hard to catch.
It's true,
But
but
if I had seen it, I would have owned it. Absolutely.
I'm serious, Randy. If I find one, I'm gonna get it.
Okay.
I'll get it to you.
If you do, let me know. Absolutely.
Mr. J, you're up. What's your question?
All right. Now that we got the fluffy, nice, brand new, beginning of the year question out of the way, let's get down to business, folks. That's why everybody's watching today. Oh, 2.5 people watching us today. They want to know what's going on in your mindset in comic book business. And this is a bit of a toss-up, right? This is an easy one. But when you set your budget for the year, folks, do you set it by the book, project, by the quarter, or do you set your budget for the year? And if you go over budget, what are some of the factors that have made you go over budget?
Interesting. Mr. Ben, you're up. You're first. What?
Okay. Y'all hear crackling in the background?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just want to make sure I didn't have something on fire here. My thing is, I go for basically what my heart and my gut tell me to go for. I try to have a basic budget, but I always run across something that I got to have that I didn't account for, and I'm never sad because I always got stuff to read. Like my runner up was the Frank Miller's All-Star Batman and Robin compendium of all of his issues, and I know there's people that don't like that, but it's a great read, even if you're for whatever you're reading it for. And I'm not sorry I bought that. I'm not. It was totally over my budget, but I read for love. So
it's only good. That's the only reason. But no. But Jay asked the question. What was as far as budget?
In terms of production, from a production standpoint, when you're putting
For your
together a
books.
project, right? When you set your budget.
Your budget for your books.
Yeah.
I kind of the same thing. I mean, I had some runaway cash last year, and I immediately put it into a bunch of different books because I knew I was going to need it. And I wish I could say I was good with my budget, but I'm really just good with the scripts and raising the cash for it. But I mean, my priorities are the titles that I want out. Like my Blonde Assassin, got to get that out. My son's comic, got to get that out. If we run kind of short on something else, it's going to be something of a lesser. I just, and also we do this webcomic, one-page webcomics we put out there starring our Night Owl character, and that's money lost, but it's love coming in from people who like this strip. So I'm not a very good person with my money on that. I put out what I really, really feel needs to go. So sorry that doesn't make me as responsible as you guys, but
No, there's some of us that run our business like that. It's okay.
Yeah, dude. You're getting it out there, right? And for some people, it's by hook or by crook, right?
That's right. Well, hold on, Jay. We got to talk to the pro in the room, Marcus.
Why'd you come to me, man? You guys probably know I'm as neurotic with stuff like this as I am with other things. Plus, Jay knows how much I plan to put out in a year, and he knows I ain't getting nowhere unless I got a budget for that. So, yes, I do. I got a big, fat, stupid, giant spreadsheet that has all of my revolving expenses for Odyssey. So if we have things like loans or things that we've had on credit or anything like that, make sure that's factored in. I got as solid estimates as I can for any production cost with the teams and artists and printing, everything like that. Of course, what we're doing for Kickstarter. And basically, my goal is to see as far into the future as I possibly can to know that barring any sort of dead set funding, so I'm not counting anything I could possibly make it, conventions or online sales, anything like that, just raw, what's in the coffers, what's I know that's coming in, what I know that's going out, and know if I've got everything covered for the time span that I'm seeing. I would like to go out as far as I can. I would love to have a 5-year game if I can, but I try to take care always of the monsters that are in front of me and take those down first. So when I look at doing things for Odyssey, I have a strong understanding of, okay, do we want to do this? Can we hire this cover artist? Whatever the case may be, let me go to my file. Let me go to my budget and see if it's in there. If, say, I'm right now in January and my budget covers me out until October, yeah, I'll probably go ahead and spend some extra cash if we got to spare, and get whatever we need to get done, as long as it's available and there's nothing that really needs to be allotted towards that right now. We get it done. But you also have to be careful, and this is why I go with the absolute bare bones amount of cash flow coming in as possible, and don't say, oh, I'm pretty sure when I launch this campaign I'm going to get $5,000. No, none of that stuff. Like the $5,000 will go into the budget when I see it come in from Kickstarter. So I know at bare minimum, if nothing happens, this is where we're good at, and then everything that we do on top of that just adds to what we're able to do. So sometimes you get lucky and you get a couple of projects that really hit, and they can bail you out. Sometimes you get one that doesn't quite hit, and it can really set you up for a bad time. That's why I always want to be sure that I'm looking at the bare minimum, and anything extra that we're pulling in is just in fact that extra. But also be careful with how I'm doing things, because there's the budgets of actually getting things produced, and there's the things like marketing, there's going for cons, things like that. I treat some of the money a little bit differently. Conventions I try to treat as a different expense almost. So I know this year I want to spend $2,500 on conventions and target everything that's within my budget. If someone comes back and they don't have a table at the price that I want, they want something else, and it's not working out for me, that's an easy decision for me. I'll boot that con in favor of, I would rather do 3 small cons than 1 big one, because overall I tend to end up making more money that way. You don't want to put all your eggs in too many baskets. If I could do 3 cons for the price of what 1 big con would cost, and just one of those 3 cons comes through with the decent average amount that we usually see, then I'm gonna be good to go and not in over my head.
He pissed me off right at the beginning of his answer when he said, "Yeah, I have multiple lines of credit." I'm like, "This motherfucker's doing fucking banks and shit." God damn it!
Now, this is the important thing. That's definitely an important thing when it comes to the credit. The credit is also something that's on, because I know some people who will
juggle.
I'm going to produce a comic and charge it. And then they forget that they have to pay all that money back. Or that there's a little thing called interest. And if you're fine with paying an extra 30% on top of everything that you're doing with some of these cards these days, and they always check the rates up without sending any notification and telling you to do it, then you got to be very careful about that. So when it comes to things in that respect, it's usually something like, if I'm putting things on credit, it's going to be production things. I'm paying for books and shipping and things like that. Things I know are going to get taken care of, and that debt is going to get paid down pretty quickly. You really don't want to make the vast majority of your production based on credit. Cash is king when it comes to comics.
Yeah. It's funny though. You're also talking about the amount you're budgeting for conventions, and I spent more for Awesome Con in DC than I did for New York Comic Con, and I made less at Awesome Con in DC, but I made a ton more at New York Comic Con, and it's just like, the con expenses, the logistics, the travel and the lodging lit me up for DC. I was not prepared for that. But with New York Comic Con being in my backyard, I was able to go a little bit over budget because I didn't have, those logistics, but we killed it. You know what I mean? So it's
the risk reward really comes down to, especially once you start getting the catalog to where I can't get a 6-foot table anywhere anymore. Like, what am I gonna do? Put out 4 books? Like, it's worthless to me. So I have to either get at minimum an 8-foot table. So I'm always gonna have to be in
I do corner space.
Yeah, or get a corner spot, or you get a couple tables, a couple 6-foot artist alley tables, and you make it work that way. So, but then of course your average con gets more expensive. Shipping those books around, if you're going out of state, gets really expensive. That's why it's always great to be able to have any friends or things like that, where you can start strategically setting people up and having inventory and different places to send people.
See, but that's why I don't do shows on the West Coast, You know, I've only gone as far as Chicago from New York, or as far down as Texas. Something I could drive to within a day, because shipping, I'm not. If I got to ship merch, it's not worth it for me, right? If I can drive, we'll do that, because we can load up the trunk and rock and roll.
And that's why it's really tough for me to sometimes find a reason to travel out. Because even though our conventions down here in Southern California aren't fantastic, you know, there's a dozen of them.
Right.
I could drive to them all.
Right.
Just being a local talent, I know probably the bare minimum I'm going to bring in at every single one. And I know I can do the conventions here till I'm blue in the face, and I'm always going to make money. Where going out of town, once you start getting lodging and transportation, shipping the books, shipping your big banners and setups and everything like that, you're usually in, if I've got to travel somewhere, for upwards of $1,500 off top, period. So it gets really hard. But I know
if you could do $150 con and pull in 500 to 800, it's still a win. You know what I mean? For a local one. And a lot of people forget about that, but you know, those local church basement cons, right? We know that, right? And this is not a knock. Those smaller shows, they're more intimate. You know, your expense count is going to be a hell of a lot more. You usually don't have to pay lodging. You don't have to pay shipping. Your travel is going to be maybe 2 hours at max. Okay. And those folks will come to spend.
Yeah. And I think the thing too is you really got to know get to know your audience in some of these places. Because I go to some of these places and I see the same people that I see at the big conventions here too. And they buy the same at the small conventions as they do into the big conventions. They will literally come up to the Odyssey table and just ask me, yo, Marcus, what's new? What do you guys got that came out? And I tell them, and they just buy each one of the books. And because they've seen me
how you lock them in,
four or five times at these cons, you know, over the course of these years now. But I know with the budgeting and planning side, since I do that for, you know, the day corporate, you know, office stuff, that I was able to kind of be a little bit further ahead in the game than some people experience it. I always tell people, if you're starting out, especially if you're getting into publishing and you're going to have multiple things going on, multiple projects that you got to keep an eye on, you really, 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 really got to get a solid game plan, a solid budget down. It's there's been too many times I've seen people say, oh yeah, it should work out, everything should be okay. They throw a Kickstarter up, it doesn't get funded, and they go back to the drawing board and don't really even know if they even got the money to take another shot at it and really be doing it. And that's the type of position. It's perfectly fine having a campaign that fails and learning from your mistakes in that regard. But when it comes down to, if there's people that you've gotten work from that aren't getting paid, or people that aren't getting books, things of that nature, when that comes into play, then you're doing yourself a tremendous disservice in this industry, because that word goes around quickly, very quickly. 100%. And your time in the industry can be over just that easily. And that's the sad truth to it. So yeah, 100%. If people don't have it down, there's also sorts of stuff in Microsoft Excel that kick things out, standard, and you don't have to be a genius when it comes to analytics or anything like that, but just get it down, get in the writing so you at least know what you're working with.
All right, cool. Perry, how do you work out your budget?
Listen to Marcus talk, man. My mind is just blown. Like, he's got things all organized to like a crazy extent, man. I'm so bad with that kind of stuff, which is biting me in the ass now too. So man, I wish I'd heard this stuff from you like 6 months ago. Would have definitely saved me some trouble. But yeah, I just try to, this is my first project, so I'm really just kind of learning as I go. And so definitely learning from my mistakes, seeing like what things I did wrong, what are things that I could do better next time. So that's been a big thing. It's a challenge to try and figure this stuff out, because there's so many different resources out there, and it can be tough to like kind of find like the right way to see what works and what doesn't. So yeah, that's me. I'm just kind of like trying to throw stuff at the wall and basically see how it works out, which has not worked out so well this time, but definitely I'll be thinking more about this stuff in the future.
All right, cool. Jay kicked himself out of the show. It wasn't me this time.
Uh-oh.
So
all you got to do is hit the right button. Yeah.
This is true. I don't know what he did to himself, because he's gone. He's God. Damian, what are your thoughts on Jay's question?
Who? What? Me?
No. Oh, Randy. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
You said Jay. It's like he's already gone.
Yeah, I know. He's
You
already gone.
know me. I don't have a budget, so
Mhm.
we make do. Arrow Comics runs off of everybody owns their own stuff, is responsible for their own stuff. Most of what we're doing at the moment is crowdfunded, so that's the budget for an individual product. As we have, I did a Fool campaign that pulled down maybe $800, but I didn't spend a lot of time on marketing it, which I should have done a lot more of because it was a really solid product. And we have other projects up on like Fund My Comic has AR13L, which has pulled down 19,000, which is a great product, just a solid book. It's going to be a lot of fun once it gets printed to see. But everybody's responsible for their own funds there. Personally, I fund off of my commercial art work that I do off of the profits from that. what there are. I've narrowed myself down to a couple of reliable clients, and I'm not really looking for more work in that area. But one of the clients especially has kept me in really good profit the last couple of years, thankfully, because the financial situation that we went through a couple of years ago that we're still feeling the pain from. I still have a garage half full of books, so that we need to move.
Me too.
And which we're looking to do. This year, the conventions I go to, I can drive to. The people that the conventions I go to, I'm invited as a guest, and they're great people. The people who set up the shows, a couple of them, treat me like a real guest, and that's awesome and incredible to have happen. And I deeply appreciate it. And I've been doing their shows for quite a few years, but Marcus is 100% correct. I think for the independent guys right now, the one-day show is just incredible because of the intimacy and the fact that you have that chance to talk directly to somebody for a few minutes so that they get to know you, your product, and what's going on, instead of somebody walking by and going, "Hey, where's the next media star? Because I need an autograph." We've really seen the last few years things split into media shows and comic shows, and a lot of those comic shows, a lot of those, as you said, as Jay said, church shows are very, very fruitful for the independent guy because it gives that one-on-one hometown feel, and folks really get to know you and what you're doing. I've got a great statue right now that's almost actual size of Herobot Zero that I will be taking around to shows, and my brother is a droid maker, and he came to, I used to throw little one-day shows at our local Masonic temple, and he stopped by. He was kind of a Star Trek fan, kind of a Star Wars fan, but he went to one of the shows. Next day called me up and says, "Hey, I'm going to start doing Star Wars droids." And I said, "Yeah, great. Good for you. Go ahead, do it." And he started contacting me like every other day. I found the R2 builders group. I found this. I found the head for the R2 unit can be molded in aluminum and all of this. And he's been making droids ever since. And he did that sculpture up for me. And I can't tell you how great it looks and how grateful I am to have it, because that visual aid I know is really going to help me sell that book. And believe me, I got a lot of them. So I still got boxes. But anyway, other than that, yeah, that's the big thing. Everything is one project at a time, one step at a time. We're looking as Arrow Comics to make some moves into other distribution venues and maybe some direct outside contact with some sequential art projects. But everything takes time and everything takes study, and you have to do your research, or you're gonna, you don't want to lose more money than you can afford to lose. And right now, for me personally, it's pretty tight. So being careful.
Right,
that's
cool.
that's my budgetary speech. So yeah.
Listen, I know how you feel, Damian.
I'm actually really excited. I'm really excited about this question because, like I said, it's been a rebuild year for me. I was doing probably 4 to 5 cons a year before this last year, 2023. And last year I did 1. And that was only because I really wanted to, there were people that I knew that were going, that I want to go hang out with these people for a while. I'm not worried about money. I actually had 3 years worth of bibs and bobs of things that I had purchased, giveaways. I've sold through all my books, luckily. Like those, I had maybe 5 left by the time I got to this con. And I just gave everything away. I was like, here's the store, because I'm starting over. But that was also how I used to run. You know, well, I got to be on the bottom. I saw that.
There's a joke in there somewhere. We're all thinking it. We're just gonna let it go.
Why would you say that?
Oh, I'm the bottom now.
You can put me on the bottom. I'm not afraid. There you are.
Thank you.
That's also kind of how I planned.
Oh, I'll be next to the mouse. It's all good.
It's safe down there by the mouse.
Yes.
I didn't really plan. I bought for the next con. I bought, what do I need? I've been there a couple of times. I'd go to a con, go there for a couple of years. I mean, this was like 10 years of going to cons. And I knew, like, after the first couple of years, what I needed, what sold. Hey, there's some other stuff I'm working on. Then when I got into the toys, I had toys there. Those sold really well. But it was one of those things where I never really planned. Because my professional development grew sort of stunted because of that lifestyle of just shoot for the next con, just shoot for the next thing. If you make your money back, you're good. Shoot for the next thing. And not that that's bad, but I mean, like, if you're not progressing, what's the point? Like, it's just a fun weekend at that point. You might as well just go for vacation and not spend all the money. Like, why are you doing this? Are you doing this to progress? Or are you doing this to, are you doing this for fun? Or are you doing this for real? Both. And that was what this whole year was about, was really figuring out, where does this fit into my life? Where does all this? Shut up, Brian. I've known him for 20 years. I can say that to him. But he getting to a place where I can start doing what Marcus is talking about. And Marcus, please, if you have any time in the near future, if I could pick your brain a little as far as, how you do your spreadsheets and how you do all that, because again, the first half of this year is going to be feeding into that, feeding the money into the machine, so that on the other end, what are my goals? What am I doing? How am I trying to progress? Not just sit in this spot. Because it's fun. Like, the ride's fun. Go to a con and selling your wares and making a little money back, it's fun, but that's how I lived that. I didn't live it as a business. And that's how I want to proceed going forward, is treat this as a business.
And
I don't know if I'm answering the question, but that's kind of where my head's at.
Yeah, no, you
and
are.
I'm always happy to help people out with that side, because this is how freaky I am. Actually, with the exception of the last campaign we did, because we actually beat all of my estimations. But for the previous maybe 4 or 5 campaigns before that, I predicted how much each of those campaigns would make before we ever launched a campaign, to within $200-$300 in some of these cases. So nice. When it comes to it, I guess I just have a gift, even though I flunked all my math classes in high school.
It's money, man. I'm telling you, I'm kind of that way too. Like, you give me a bunch of numbers and I'm
like, this is meaningless.
Give me money, I got it. Like,
money or sports stats, and I'll figure it out.
My son's got the sports stats.
I hate the money side of comics. I mean, I would do anything to have like a Marcus publisher that I report to and just turn in scripts, maybe help edit the scripts, and then just watch it develop, because it's just it's killing me.
Oh, it's a different side of the brain, is what it is.
Yeah. And honestly, that's quite a bit of what we do. Like, we're kicking off Fantasmic for this month, and this is a project where the writer Jeff brought me everything. He had the book ready to go, and he says, "Do you think there's any potential we could do with it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but I want to change some things. I think editorial wise, there's some stuff we want to do. So let's get the team back together. I got the funds to take care of paying their page rates. Don't worry about it. And I can manage all the business end portions of everything for you and make sure the Kickstarter is running well. We get it funded. And these situations are cool for them because they may due to impetus to get things started, he invested the time to make sure the team was paid and taken care of. And now if we do a Kickstarter that's successful, he gets to recoup all those expenses, probably more so, and then have a partner who can now, okay, that isn't on him anymore, because as a publisher, I know the potential that we can have, especially if we have a strong campaign to make sure that, we're taking care of the team the next time, and then rolling into that. I think some of these situations are going to become more common as time goes on. Because Kickstarter is a tough game. Crowdfunding is a tough game. Direct market's a tough game.
Oh yeah,
The finances of everything. This is a popular thread on Twitter. Everyone's talking about. But I believe it was Godhood Comics that I put out there, where most people do not understand how much money that it takes to make a comic book, and when you tell them, it blows their minds.
Yeah,
And that's the case. I think a lot of books are usually going to be falling between that, close to 3K to 7-8K range, depending on where your team is, where they're located, everything like that. Some people go way beyond it, but it's a lot of money to play around with, and just trying to keep your head above water sometimes is a difficult thing to.
Yet
do.
we are expected to save the local comic shop.
Yes.
No, we're not.
Are we? When did that happen?
Nobody's expecting us.
I don't think we're expected. Some people want us.
That's a memo I
yeah.
think I missed somewhere.
Yeah, I didn't get that memo. I didn't get the memo nor the check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get the memo nor the check. So to answer your question, Jay.
Yes.
I run my business the same way I write my stories, by the seat of my pants.
That's my
I get
man.
money. I get my money. I pay my artists. I make sure my primary artists get paid first and in advance. So I keep stuff coming in until the next check comes in, and that's it. And I just keep it rolling. Nowhere near as well oiled or well thought out as Marcus's plan, but it's been working.
And I think this is an important thing for me too, because I will say this is a semi-recent thing for me that I started doing, because before, when I was just worried about getting the comics out, I was the same way. I was flying by the seat of my pants and being like, there's money in the bank. It came from somewhere. I don't know. I got to spend. So we're going to do something with it, to the point where I knew going into 2024, it was going to be a difficult year. And for a long time, I was the sole person at Aussie Comics getting everything done. For us to be successful, that could not happen anymore. I had to bring people in, and to have employees, they got to get paid. So I had to start knowing if I was going to be having the availability of the funds and making sure that they were getting taken care of. Because due to that, I'm able to have a creative director now. I'm able to have a lead editor now. We're probably going to be reaching out to more people, bringing some more people in, because it's the game now of, okay, you're over that first threshold, that sort of hobbyist and enthusiast tier, to where it's now you're playing with a lot of things. You're operating as a real business now. What are you going to do? So you got to make sure that you're financially in that position, if you're going to be a real business, to act like a real business and have budgets like a real business and take care of people.
What, like a real business? Buckets?
Buckets?
You should have some buckets, like a little.
But budget. No, you can have buckets or budgets. Hopefully, the buckets are full of cash. Yeah, buckets of money.
Yes,
that's how everybody gets paid. They just get a 5-gallon bucket.
Yeah,
How full it is, that's up for debate. But
yeah, I mean, listen. Here's my big issue: is I don't have staff. It's just myself and Daphne, right? So she does her thing, I do my thing, and then here's the problem: sometimes I'll end up with a surplus of cash, and that's when I have problems. Because it's always, it's a problem, because then I'm like, let me hire that guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me hire that guy too, and that guy, and that lady, and that one.
By the time you get all the invoices, you're like, wait, there wasn't that much.
Right, exactly. I'm like, oh shit, I ran through it all. Damn it! Back to the churches.
That was me.
Yeah.
That was me. I'm a fat kid, so I eat with my eyes. You know what I'm saying? You're a shiny artist, with these beautiful baubles that come out of the stroke of your pen, and I'm like, oh yes, I can get that. So I blew through my yearly budget last year very quickly, very, very quickly.
Now, Jay, would you say you blew through it within the first or second quarter?
Second quarter, definitely. because there were also some outside factors that went into me not being able to run campaigns, generate revenue for a smaller period of time because I was focused on those other things. So that started the ball rolling downhill the wrong way. And I'm happy to say that all 4 projects that are coming out this year are fully paid for. So
there you go.
And I'm only paying for 2 projects to get done on top of that. So I am setting my budgets not by the year, not by the quarter, but by the project. And to answer Michael's question, just briefly, yes, Michael, you can reach out to me, brother. I will talk to you. But this is one of the things he was talking about, right? And when I ship out my books to folks, they're either getting this on their clamshell packages, right, for the big stuff, or on their hard mailers, their small hard mailers. So that also doubles as our mystery box when we go to conventions. So it's not like the money's only going to be set aside for that one thing. But that is also part of my budget, right? Those are my perishables, right? And from the business standpoint, you got to factor in your perishables, folks. Those are the items that you need to buy that you are not going to make money on, right? For fast food plates, it's napkins and straws, right? For us, it's fucking shipping boxes, and they're a hell of a lot more money than napkins and straws are. But we got to factor that in, and we need to set that also into our crowdfunding campaign budgets. Right? It's part of our expenses, and if you don't, you're going to be kicking yourself in the butt because this is expensive. The margins are low, and times are lean, right? And yes, you want to get the stuff out there, but you want to keep making more. And if after a crowdfunded project is successful and you're still coming out of pocket, you gotta look at yourself and make sure you're running the numbers the right way, right? Marcus, Damion, you guys said this a moment ago, right? When I came back in school, you were shit with numbers. Me too. Me fucking too, right? Shit, I went to college and remedial math just so I can get an easy A.
And did you manage to pass?
No, because I'm still hanging out. You know what I'm saying? That's why I needed the easy A, so I thought I could do a class that I could fucking coast in while I was hanging out outside, but it didn't work for me. But when it comes to this, right, so much of this, I don't want to say it was learned on the fly, but it was learned with the punch in the face, right? It was learned because I don't want to keep losing money. So I had to figure out how to make the numbers work. That's something we all need to do because we want to make more books at the end of the day. I'm not trying to preach. I'm just,
You're getting a lot of nods off this. When you said punch in the face, every head went like this.
Because we've all been there. We've all been there.
Well, yeah, I was just nodding because if you look at his face, it looks like it's been punched quite a bit.
Oh, this nose has been broken about 4 times in my life. There's no doubt about that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I was actually falling asleep. I was dozing.
Okay. No, he's from Brooklyn.
You got fucking lines of credit from like 17 banks. Fucking guy.
I shouldn't have said anything. Now Jay's gonna be looking at me like the fucking Monopoly man every time. Talk about a campaign. I'm over here
You're gonna
my
see him
monocle.
coming to conventions with fucking top hats and fucking,
There you go.
Halloween tuxedos and shit.
But the punches in the face, I'm glad you brought that up because that is important. Because a lot of times, and especially when you're in the crowdfunding market, there's so many unknowns. Especially when you're coming in, you don't know until you do this a few times, sort of what your base level of support is going to be. So where you should be targeted. Like the first campaign we did, we for $14,000, which was stupid, but like we made it gratefully. But it was a dumb thing to do because our audience wasn't there yet to be shooting for such a lofty target. Now, every time we do a project, I know with almost certainty what's the baseline of Odyssey support. Who are the Odyssey fans that are going to come and back those books virtually no matter what they are, who are always going to be there for a Kickstarter, who are always going to reach out to me and be asking me when the next thing is coming and how much that bring in. So that lets me know, okay, off general principle, whatever it is, I know I can allot this much budget to this project because I'm virtually guaranteed to bring this much in. And then you start from there as your working point and see what you can do. Now, if you're lucky enough to have the funds available to boost things up, shoot for a little more, maybe get some really sweet variant cover art from some known talent or anything like that, and you can live with the results, then that's when you start stretching and playing things a little bit, but no bare minimum where you need to be. And unfortunately, just you have to go through the paces of finding out where you're, exactly what they're saying there. Find out what your foundation is. Where's your basement? And then you build the floors from there. And you do it every single time you have a campaign. Because some audiences don't roll over, some periods are tougher than others. It's just how it is. Every single campaign we've done have all been different. And the amounts they bring in vary wildly from campaign to campaign. You never know.
That's true. Now, listen, guys. I mean, what we're going through now, what we're gonna look at now is something awesome. Here we go. Night Owl.
Yay!
This was illustrated by Jason, right?
Yeah, Jason has done Night Owl since 2007.
All right, cool. Do you want me to play this video?
Yeah, please do.
All right. So. Sorry.
No worries.
All right.
Appreciate that.
Wish I had the
That's
patience
really-
for videos.
So Ben, tell me about the project. I'm going to pull up your other page because I know you already have it.
Yeah, basically, Night Owl is our earliest character. My son and I, Jake was 12 when we started this. He's like nearly 30 now. We took basically a snapshot of him at age 12. We gave him superpowers, and we basically both worked off of our grief over the death of my father and infused it into the character. And we just kept at it since 2007. Actually, it got Jake on the Today Show at one point because he did he did an issue of Night Owl that was dedicated to Amber Hagerman, and that got a lot of attention. And we just kept at it. And so years later, I'm doing Blonde Assassin. He's doing the alternative narratives comic I showed you earlier. But we come back to Night Owl because that's where it all started. And we just try to make it as good a read as possible. So,
all right, cool. When do you expect to launch this?
Next week. Jake's got an interview. He's going to formally launch it on next week on the I think it's around Wednesday. So,
okay, Cool. Maybe we can bring him on in a couple of weeks if he wants to come on.
Love to. He's looking forward to it. He loves your show.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's bring up. Hold on. Wait.
Oh, by the way, Perry, I've been a fan of Hellblazer since 1987, so I've always wanted to be close to someone named Constantine. So nice to meet you. And Randy, I love that spinner rack behind you, dude. It's just amazing. So
Thank you very much. Yeah,
Sure.
it's a prize of mine. That's why I have it back over my shoulder.
it's awesome. All right.
Yeah.
And I'm always happy to see that Chicago flag, Perry.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
I haven't been there in over 15 years since I moved out here to Japan, but I still got to keep the hometown pride.
All right. So Perry, what do we got here?
So this is Paragons of Earth. The announcement video is like 7 minutes long, so you might want to. I've got a shorter one I can send you here. This will probably be a little bit better for the purposes of sharing here.
Yeah,
just put it in the
mhm.
chat.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, this all started off from a prompt in a public domain group on Facebook. They asked, like, recreate Zack Snyder's Justice League using public domain heroes, and came up with a list of stuff. And the idea just stuck in my head. I started doing a bunch of sketches and a bunch of designs for the different characters, and showed what I had done with my friend Thomas DJ. He loved it. He wanted to be part of the project, so we kind of went back and forth, coming up with different ideas. And as we were coming up with the ideas, I realized that this is not something I was capable of drawing myself. So we reached out to a friend of mine, Eric Johns, who he used to do some stuff with like Razor in the 90s, and he's been thinking about getting back into comics. So I reached out to him, showed him the script. He loved the script, and right away he came up with these amazing designs, really kind of made it his own, and we were off to the races. So we've been we're still working on raising money for it, but the comic is finished. We are going to start sending out digital rewards to people this month, and physical stuff is going to start shipping out within like the next month or so after that.
All right, cool. Very nice. Now, is this a one shot?
It was supposed to be. It depends on how well it does. So like we've got a lot of ideas for a bunch of for a continuing series, and if this one sells well enough, then we'll be able to produce more issues. But we got to see how this one does first. But at the moment, just a one shot. But we'll see how things work out. Hopefully, we'll be able to do more stuff because all of us, we're really excited about this book. We really want it to do well. We're really hoping we can do more stuff with these characters.
All right, cool. Now I got a question, and I see you're on Crowdfunder. Is there any reason why you chose Crowdfunder over one of the other platforms?
Yeah, I looked at a bunch of them. Kickstarter was a little bit intimidating with the all or nothing approach, and so I thought Crowdfunder was a little bit of a safer bet because it lets you keep it all, it lets you run the campaign and extend the time. So I thought that would be a better choice for the first run out. Though one of the problems with Crowdfunder is it doesn't have anywhere near the discoverability that Kickstarter has.
Right, correct. Gotcha. All right, cool. I mean, yeah, I would always suggest, like after you're done running this, maybe try running a Kickstarter. Just set it low, set it at $200, $300. And just
I've actually been thinking about that, like maybe doing a digital only Kickstarter or something like that, because the digital stuff, that's just pure profit basically. Those are already done. They're assembled. They're easy to make.
True enough. All right, there you go. I mean, yeah. I mean, it looks good. It looks like a lot of fun. Where did you find? I know you said they're all public domain characters. Where did you find them?
There's a website called Public Domain Superheroes. It's like PD. You can just Google Public Domain Superheroes. It'll pop right up.
It's a nice wiki page that lists all the PD characters. It's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been playing around with public domain stuff just for fun for like the past year or so, just like doing little designs and stuff like that. I've actually got some Arrow stuff that I'm hopefully doing myself maybe later on. I already did one little 8-page short with that character. And And it's fun. These characters, they're just sitting there. Nobody's using them. They've got a lot of potential, and it's a lot of fun to just kind of play around with them.
Okay. Cool. I mean, yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. I mean, everybody, please go check it out. I mean, it looks like an awesome book. Did you send over that link?
Yeah, it's in the private chat.
Let's see.
And on that YouTube channel as well, and you can find it on the crowdfunder, we've been doing short little videos about our creation process behind different characters. Me and Tom, the co-writer, we did a longer one where we talked about why we chose public domain and a whole lot of stuff like that. So a lot of little videos about these different characters that we're putting up on there too.
Don't mind me.
We're not. You're just producing your own show on the fly.
Exactly. On the fly, as usual.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for that, Constantine. I am one of the co-creators of the exciting new comic book called Paragons of Earth. In this comic book, we've taken a bunch of forgotten Golden Age characters, plucked them out of the public.
And that was just one of the videos about the behind-the-scenes design work. And we've been showing a bunch of sketches and stuff like that we used when we were creating these characters.
Cool. Now, I mean, I got a couple more to present, but one of these people just always gets on my nerves. It's not this guy though. This guy's cool, people.
What'd I do?
All right.
What'd I do?
So, Marcus, what do we got? Fantastic. Looks awesome.
Yeah, we got Fantasmic. This is our first comic of 2024. This one will be rolling out on January 23rd, all things permitted. Fantasmic follows the story of a comic book artist by the name of Kit. She is really having a tough time when her creations, a comic that she's working on, start to manifest in the real world. So as Kit grapples with the consequences of her creations manifesting and coming into the real world, she also has to unravel the mystery behind this phantasmagorical phenomenon before it consumes her completely. So it's very much steeped in the tradition of superhero sci-fi. It's got a little bit of I want to say God, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's a little bit metatextual in terms of some of the things that it touches on, and people that are artists and making comics will start to understand it quite a bit. But we got a great team together on this one. Jeff Matuza is the writer on it. I believe we might be giving him his first published comic, so that's always a great thing that we're able to do for people. People will be familiar with the artists that we got aboard. We have Walt Giovanni from Red Sonja fame, who's going to be doing the interior artwork. We have Geraldo Borges, who's currently doing Dick Tracy, is our cover artist. We got Arthur Halsey from Project Superpowers. He was on doing as the colorist. Then we got Buddy Boudin, who a lot of people know Buddy. He's done letters for so many comics in the indie comic space and for the major publishers too. We got some really cool variant cover artists that are going to be aboard the project too that we'll be revealing. I think the first one we're going to do is at 100 followers. So if everybody's out there that's seeing this right now, go ahead and follow it. When we get to the 100, we'll drop the first variant cover. Then I think when we get to 150, we'll drop the second variant cover that we'll have with the campaign. This one is really something that we've been working on for a while. Like I said early in the show, the book has been done for some time. but we went back to the drawing board just a little bit to enhance the book, add a couple pages, really make sure that the story is the best it can possibly be. The artwork is fantastic for it. Anybody following us on Twitter or on Facebook can go check out some of the previews that we have for it. And I'm sure I'll be back on the show once we launch and be able to give everybody the lowdown, man.
Cool. Now, how many issues are you looking for the series?
I messed up earlier and I said 4, and then Jeff sent me a reminder via email, let me know it was going to be 5. So we're going to have 5 issues, the miniseries. So hopefully we get good response to it. Jeff has the script done for number 2. We're going through the editorial phase with it right now, but with any luck, we'll have that getting ready to come out towards the summer as well. We're hoping to at least have 1 to 2 each year. They're coming out throughout the story. Up.
All right, very nice, very nice. Looking good. You're starting to shape them now. Now, how many campaigns are you looking to launch this year?
Gosh. If you want the real deal, let me open my fancy spreadsheet for this. Yes, I got spreadsheets for the campaigns too. I got a whole production list. So
I have a real quick.
This year we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, likely 12, and maybe a 13.
You really had a spreadsheet for that just now?
Yes.
You really had a spread, dude. You're like a comic book character yourself.
You should see this fucking thing. Like the spreadsheet I got is crazy. It's like it has a whole production timeline for everything laid out, so I know where all the art production is landing, when I'm gonna be in promotional phase, when I'm putting the books together, when everything's shipping out.
How do you think he gets his lines of credit? He's got to show all the stuff that's coming.
Wow. Hey, real fast, there was a barrage of questions. One of them was if the Night Owl comic was coming out in PDF, and we'll send it. We'll send the digital versions in PDF form. So that's whoever asked that. I didn't catch the name.
All right, Mr. Rosario.
What, little me? Yes. So this is the pre-launch is up now, right? This was the unveiling. So Shield of the Interceptor, the Golden Moon Part 1. This is a brand new story arc for the Interceptor. It's coming back. This will be a 4-issue story arc. Right now, it is set up to be 24 pages with the possibility of extra, I guess, data pages, character entries as stretch goals, trading cards as stretch goals. I have something I think it's really cool that I'm planning for day 1 backers. So this is the first time I'm doing that. And if you don't hit it on day 1, well then you could pay extra for it if you really want it. But I also have something set up for returning backers. So anybody who has spent money on me before, this is my way of saying thank you. We don't have a frequent flyer program. We don't have that coupon card clip out for Coffee of the Month. But we've done over 20-something crowdfunding campaigns. So if you have backed any one of the campaigns that I have run previously, then there's going to be a special. I can't believe I wasn't even set up for this. There's going to be a special hologram trading card, trading card reward for anyone who has backed us before. No extra charge for the first one. If you want a second one, you got to pay a couple extra bucks. Yes, but for the first one, all you got to do is back the project, and you will automatically have this special holochrome trading card in your reward. It's going to be $10. That will include the shipping, the handling, maybe any other tchotchke stretch goals that pop up in there. And then after that, the book could be $5 at any convention that you go to. I'm excited. I'm excited to get back to the flagship character of Unstoppable Comics, man. And the cover has not yet been revealed. We got a special cover illustrated by I'm not even going to say his name.
You forgot his name, didn't you?
No,
Yeah,
I know.
You forgot his name.
I know his
Definitely
name.
forgot
He's
his
having
name.
a senior
Definitely forgot the
moment.
name.
No, you know what? I was trying to build up anticipation, but I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. He's an Italian dude. I don't know if it's Francesco Tomaselli. So he's done some work for DC,
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yes.
know who that
Yep.
is, yeah.
Mhm.
and he
Really,
did,
really good.
yeah. So
Yeah.
the cover that he's got is it's fucking badass.
Mhm.
But that's it. There's not going to be a lot of extra extra things in there, right? So there's only going to be one cover, not a Kickstarter cover, not multiple covers, not holochrome covers that we were doing before, or red foil covers yet, right? Right off the bat, it's just going to be one simple cover, and you can either get this or any of the other 4 issues from Shield of the Interceptor, or you can get his first appearance, which will be in Storm Chasers #5, or you can get his origin story, which is going to be which was in Unstoppable Origins #1. So whatchamacallit, there's going to be not bare bones, but a nice lean campaign, right? And let's rock and roll. I can't wait. So it's launching next Saturday at 8:00. I'm going to be doing a live stream. Oh yes, and if anyone is going to be watching the live stream, we are going to be giving away a couple of gifts to anyone who is a physical backer on day 1. So we're gonna hit the random number generator, and whatever number your backer number is for that day, we'd run it through the generator, and we'll give away some prizes to those who are physical backers, and if the campaign is funded.
Cool.
All right. Cool. Very nice. Very nice. So this is issue #5, and I see you have the Golden Moon as a part of this story. So how many issues is going to be the Golden Moon section of the story?
The Golden Moon section. So yeah.
Well, that arc.
It's going to be 4 issues. It's going to be 4 issues.
4 issues. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
of those 4 issues, like how many of those issues do you have already written out?
The first 3.
Oh, very good.
The first 3 are written out. The second one is being illustrated now.
Nice.
And the 4th one is plotted out. So there is the possibility that the fourth part, issue #8, could be a double-sized issue.
Sweet.
Very nice.
I love me a double-sized issue.
I wanna not just have the big cinematic moments, but I want to let the story breathe. But I also got other stuff on the docket that I want to get out there, right? So stretching it to 5, yeah, I'm trying to keep it to 4 issues, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Calderon, I've been fighting over the subtitle for fucking weeks, man, and I
remember, yeah.
and it hit me a few days ago. I was like, and my wife was like, dummy, you had it all along, and I'm like, it just works. So I'm just having fun with this, man. He's a hero, but he's going on an adventure. I almost feel like adding that subtitle kind of sounds like Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, but it's charging me, man. I can't wait. I can't wait to get this out.
Cool.
All right. Sounds good. So you said next Saturday, right?
Next Saturday, live streaming. Yes.
Very nice. All right, cool.
It's a good series too. That's my personal favorite book.
Oh,
so I'm looking to pitch in as you got up, buddy.
This is my jam, brother. This is the jam. I love it. I do. Because it's like I grew up. I loved He-Man. I love Thundercats, but they had swords. You never saw them cut a motherfucker through. You know what I'm saying? So why the hell did they have a sword? Why'd they have a sword? They always used the sword
in He-Man.
They always, you would see He-Man or Lino hold the sword up like this as a block. So why the fuck they have just a shield? Give the guy a shield.
Dude, I think it's awesome that you're a comic creator from Brooklyn. I mean, I grew up thinking those are the most legit writers out there.
Really?
So, yes.
I'm probably going to bring that whole group down then. You know what I mean? They'd have to grade me on a curve. Because I'm not a writer, dude. I wish I was. I'm
comic creator, comic force of creation.
No,
It's
dude, I'm a kid. I'm still the kid who's playing, with the GI Joes, pretending they're superheroes in my head, right? And it starts off. The idea starts off with, wouldn't it be cool if, right? And then expand from there. And then I try to make it sound plausible and logical, and then I try to make it seem entertaining, right? Yeah. I mean, I got fucking Post-it notes that I move around like a fucking checkerboard and shit. No, this should go here. This scene should go there. This scene should go there. No, this one is going to be held off for the end. No, we don't need this one.
I'm sorry, that makes you a writer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello. Some of the best ideas come from that, though.
That's the way that works.
Sort of out of nowhere.
Yep.
Yep.
Let's play with it and get it in shape.
See, I'm having fun with it, man. I'm having fun with it. And that's the thing, man. Last year, I was so focused on building the fucking machine. I wasn't having fun. You can look back on so many episodes last year with me and Calderon, and I was just, I don't know, I didn't have joy in this. It just wasn't coming out.
It is now.
I'm sick of looking at you. I was like, him again.
You have a book on writing advice to read? No, brother, I don't. I'm just, it's that, you know what? Yeah. You see this? The toys that are behind me? That's the writing advice, right? And that's it, dude. That's it. My wife looks at me and she's just like, oh, Jesus. But
all right. So,
Michael, my go-to book, if you want, on comic book writing, if you can find it, and it's incredibly rare anymore, is Denny O'Neil did one, and he was editor at DC for decades on comic book writing specifically. It was part of a DC series. I would recommend that book if it's strictly comic book writing. If not, then any book on writing and screenwriting is going to help you.
Screenwriting especially, it can really help you out with because screenwriting is so precise in its plotting, so those books can really help you out to figure out the structure.
How to make a good script great comes to mind as a.
Listen, Denny was well into his career, before he even thought about 3-act structure.
He can turn his 60s all the way up to when he died. He wrote stuff that was always. I'd read a comic and go, "Oh, you can do that," and I would do it myself. I feel like the guy taught me how to write, even though I never met him. I interviewed him once, but I kind of slathered over him. But
awesome stuff, man.
Yeah, Look at that! Look at that!
Russ.
Since Russ Leach, this is currently the project that as soon as I got one short story that I'm in the middle of right now for an anthology book. As soon as that's done, I get to letter this wonderful book that is done. Russ finished the artwork on it just a day or so ago. We are adapting faithfully The Shadow Kingdom by Robert E. Howard, which is recognized as the first American sword and sorcery story. It has King Kull in it. Brule is in it. It is a great story about Kull, who's just become king of Alesia, and finds out that there's a conspiracy to take the throne by a race of shape-shifting lizard people. And it's got all of the great sword and sorcery elements in it. Russ isn't sure if he's going to leave it in black and white, if he's going to do it in gray tones, or if he's going to do it in flat colors, because all three of them just look great. It is really the best art that he has done in his career. And Russ has had a long career working on a lot of things, including the Shield of the Interceptor. There's just some phenomenal work here. And like I said, it's a faithful adaptation of the story. The other versions that Marvel and Dark Horse have done have been good, but they haven't been totally faithful to the work. And I am a big Howard buff, and it will be the work on paper. With as much show don't tell as we can possibly do. Right. It's 70 pages. It's going to be a great square bound graphic novel. We will include the short story in the back of the book.
Softcover or hardcover?
We're not sure yet. I'm pulling for hardcover. Russ would be happy if it came out in newsprint and was saddle stitched and looked like an issue of Savage Sword of Conan. You know?
That'd be
But
nice.
whatever he wants to do, it's going to be an Arrow Comics product. It'll be offered on fundmycomic.com at the 1st of March. If you want more information, go over to russleach.com and sign up for his newsletter. He doesn't bombard you with emails, one letter probably a month, whenever he can get it out. But Russ is a real busy person, so he doesn't send out newsletters very well. Yeah, like I said, about once a month. But the work he's done on this book is just unbelievable, and I am so proud and honored to be a part of it that I can't tell you. And now I get to letter it, which is like going to be a Herculean task. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Now, has he finished the issue, or is he still working on it?
All the artwork is done.
Oh, nice. How many pages?
70.
Wow. Okay. Are you releasing it in one volume, or you're breaking?
Oh
it
yeah.
up?
Nope, all at once. And like I said, we're going to include the prose story in the back. There'll be a foreword and a back word article about the work. And like I said, we're real honored. I'm real honored to be able to be a part of it.
Very nice. Very nice.
And it's just fantastic. It's got every sword and sorcery element in it that you can imagine. So.
And you said March.
We're going to start the campaign March 1st. It's probably only going to run for 30 days. Russ and I are going to market the thing as hard as we possibly can. It'll all be done at that point. The format will be locked down, and the whether we do it in gray tones, in black and white, or in color will be decided by Russ. It's all up to him. But I'm just there to adapt it for him and to letter it. So and to look over the artwork and to shake my head and go home. Man, this is going to be a great book. I've said that more the last couple of months than I've said in a long time. Oh, great job to have.
It's definitely has a Conan feel, dude. I really love that art.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's a huge. He wanted to do this so badly because he's done. Like he did a run of Batman for Panini over in Europe. He's done Doctor Who quarterly and Doctor Who monthly. And like I said, he's worked with Jay on stuff and with a lot of other. He does his own property called Only Death Can Save Us. That's had 2 large volumes from New Haven Publishing. Those are available over on Amazon right now. And this is just a sheer labor of love on his part. And it's something he's always wanted to do. And we're really talking about doing a lot more with it in the future, depending upon how well this campaign is received. So I can't wait to get it underway. I know it's going to be a huge book.
Randy, did he have to get the license for this? How did
that story is in public domain?
Gotcha. Okay.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
There are three, actually 2.5, technically 2.5 stories that feature Cull that are in public domain. The last one is a crossover with Cull and Bran McMorn. It's really a Bran McMorn story where he's in the middle of a bunch of, and Russ is talking about doing this too. Huge war scene all the way through. They're trying to get all of their side coordinated, and Bran McMorn wishes back onto one of his ancestors, and Cull pops up on the hill and coordinates all of the team, and they go rushing the bad guys and eventually win the huge war, and then Cull kind of tips his hat to McMorn and leaves. But that's that story. This is really the start of everything. This is this is really the foundation of Howard's barbarian stories. Gotcha. And it's just a great story. And I don't think I'm trying not to use any ego on this. It really the story hasn't been done justice in comic book form, and we're trying to bring that to this product.
Nice.
So
nice.
Looking forward to seeing it out.
So Damion, it's your turn, sir. What's your question?
Okay. So I always try to go a little existential with these.
All right. You're gonna confuse Jay, so don't go.
Yeah, don't use big words.
Why is it always the convicts that always start talking about God and the afterlife and stuff like that? Come on, bro. Come on.
I've been through some shit. No.
I've been existential the last couple of years, so go ahead.
You made me forget my question.
Why are you supposed to write it down, sir?
Yes,
that's why I need to write these things down. Okay. trying to find a way to put this now because I've lost half the question.
Uh-oh.
So most of your writers, right, creators, I'm an artist.
Okay.
What do you feel is like one of the biggest points of contention when dealing with an artist? I've had a friend of mine recently that had to deal with he was doing a big piece, and he had someone buying it from him. It was a lot of involved work. But this gentleman has been in this industry for years. He's worked for DC. If you know him, you know him. If you know, he's been talking about it on his Facebook.
Yes.
But the person buying the work from him was not understanding that there are things that artists need to do to make it look the way you want it to look. You can't. Sometimes you gotta trust the artist. So there's my question. Like, what are the things that you find are the hardest to get an artist to understand? There's my question.
Okay. Perry, we will start with you, sir.
I actually approached this more from a lettering perspective because I think that's affected me a lot more in that aspect of it. And it's, and I've seen it on both sides from writers and artists. I've lettered books where writers put way too many words in one panel, and I've lettered books where the artist left zero room for any of the dialogue or anything like that. So I think those are probably the two biggest things that I've seen as difficult to communicate, is just not understanding what the letterer needs to work with.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Ben?
I think we're kind of running kind of in reverse here. It's supposed to be, I think Mark is supposed to go next.
Oh, really? Oh, sorry.
Well, because everybody got moved around because somebody had to drop out because, they had to reboot their computer.
I think this is one I struggle with because I'm more of I spend most of my life being an artist, so I always feel for people more from that perspective, and I'm probably notoriously soft on artists at this point in time and very forgiving towards them, but probably even in cases where I shouldn't be. But in general, I think there's only been one or two cases to where I wasn't getting something from an artist that I really wanted to. And I was trying to push that person in the right direction. And, I went to them and hired them because they were an artist at one of the big two publishers. And I was trying to guarantee a certain level of quality, and they weren't bringing it. And I was trying to push them and help them go in that direction. Within a certain cases, that meant picking up the pencil myself so that I could show them, hey, I'm not even as talented as you, but I know how to execute on the prompt that the writer is giving here. So at minimum, what I expect is that an artist can out-art me, especially if I see they have the technical talent and skill to do so. If they aren't doing so, then that means they're not putting the effort forward to actually do it. So I'm always trying to coach the effort. And then unfortunately, that came down to a situation where I couldn't coach the person any longer, and I had to end the relationship that we had with them. It's not a case of, not wanting to work with that person anymore or anything like that. It's just, this isn't a project for you if you can't.
This thing wasn't working.
It just wasn't working, and we went in a different direction that turned out to be the right move to do, and it came out so much better as a result. And sometimes you also have to leave yourself open to what the artist might be able to do. And this came up very recently for me and one of the team members, where the prompt that we were given wasn't being executed on, but what the artist came back with was so much better than what we came up with. Now, granted, they failed in the prompt that was given, but task still failed successfully. As they say, that what it came out was so much better than what we dreamed up. But really, when it comes down to it, is knowing that for the book to be successful, for an artist to be successfully taking care of what they need to do in terms of chores, it has to be meeting that level of it. How the layouts go, anything like that, those things can be open to interpretation. They can be worked on, but if they are not bringing the quality then that's where the buck has to stop all the time. Because at that point, you're not just advocating on part of yourself as business person making a comic. You're also advocating on behalf of the reader who's going to get that comic and making sure that they're getting the book that they deserve and they're paying money for. And that's what
the rest of the team that is working with you.
Yes.
You don't want them to unfortunately be taking a step down because somebody else wasn't able to carry their load.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, fair enough. Ben, what are your thoughts on it?
Tom DeFalco once wrote about early in his management career before he went back into writing how you never call an artist directly when you have criticism about something they did, because they will take it as a death threat, because they're perceived as being hypersensitive. So bearing that in mind, Jason Doobie, my publisher and artist on some projects, I coordinate with him, whoever's doing the art. So there's been some times when, characters are flipped or things that are done, but Jason acts as a buffer so that my initial what the fuck reaction doesn't hurt the feelings of whoever's doing the art. So and that's important, because you can't be that good with pencils unless you have a certain sensitivity that I might be lacking. So I just, if without Jason, I don't know, I probably would have all quit by now, because when my art's misinterpreted, I'm like, wah! So.
I got you. Nice. Randy, what are your thoughts?
When you're working with an artist, it's really a marriage, and you have to be careful up front. There's so much that you have to take into consideration, especially if you can get along with the person. That's the big thing. You have to try to be as in tune with each other as possible. But a lot of the scripts that I do for other artists, a lot of the stuff I do, I like doing on my own, and then I know who's to blame, and then I know who the idiot is that doesn't draw it the way that I want it to be done. That's all me. But I try to give us as full a script as possible without being too anal about it. Alan Moore does entire books. You try to keep everything down to a basic page structure and have an idea of where they want to be at the top and the bottom of the page, and let them fill in as they go along, depending upon how accomplished they are as an artist and how much of a storyteller that they know that they are. A lot of times I'll just break things down panel one with a full description and include some dialogue if I think it's necessary, depending upon the artist. But I've been really fortunate to work with a lot of people that already have that artistic eye and have never really had too many WTF moments when I've gotten artwork in, but I know that they exist. But that's where the relationship between you and the artist on a informal level comes in incredibly handy, so that you can politely tell them, what the hell is this kind of stuff. But I can't ever remember having that kind of problem. So I guess I've been incredibly lucky as far as that goes. But the big thing is communication, and to be able to get your artist on the same level as you're seeing. About 5 times out of 10, 6, 7 times out of 10, when I see the page, there's a little extra added to it, because luckily that artist has been able to infuse a little bit of his own work into what I had wanted to see done. And those kind of pleasant surprises always just add to the work and make everybody more dedicated to it. Yeah. But the real challenge, I think, is to be there and be communicative and be able to get what you need in that story, so that you can go through and finish the script and make it a comic. Did I answer that question? Good.
Oh yeah, you did.
Okay.
Right.
I think Perry had a interesting perspective, right? But Ben, Marcus, and Randy, and myself, I think it boils down to self-awareness of the person you're collaborating with, right? Mm-hmm. They don't have a self-awareness of what they're ready for, whether they're not ready to ask for the rates that they should be asking for. They're not ready to handle the position that they're asking for, right? Sometimes they want to cover and they don't understand, what cover art is for, right? They're not ready to handle a production schedule, a panel sequential schedule, right? They want more than the backup or the pinup story. They're not ready to be professional enough to collaborate with someone. They're not ready to be professional enough to understand, to take criticism, right? Ben,
just cases where they might just have a little bit of a gap. Some people can be concept artists and do really well with that. You get them to do an interior, they can't perform. And then it's the reverse way too. Some people, if the characters aren't defined enough for them, they start to really struggle. But if you have the investment, you have someone else take care of the concepts, so you can hand that off to them, then they can, it's all about supplementing wherever they are.
Yeah.
If you can. And then
they're not ready to come up with a believable lie enough to tell you why they haven't turned in their work on time.
There's also language barriers at sometimes because Jason works with a lot of people overseas, and so we're dealing with that too. So
right, all right. I have my faults. I'm not going to say I don't.
No,
I'm not going to say
no. This is impossible. Oh, come on,
dude! I fly off the fucking handle. I got a short temper. I got a big mouth. I'm a blowhard. All that shit. Excuse me. I chose the wrong word with the inmate. Beside me.
The inmate. Okay.
He's in the prison library right now. That's why he's
see this. I've been sick for a week. What? I'm wearing it for a reason. Leave me alone.
I'm busting your balls, baby. I'm busting balls. Listen, I only bust the balls of the people I like.
We're on the
Hence
air.
why I haven't said anything to Calderon all night tonight.
That's fine.
But it's self-awareness. It's self-awareness. Because those who know what position I'm at, who can recognize that, are probably better collaborators and are working with top-tier talent. If they have better self-awareness.
And that's where having editors also help, because you always get that buffer between you and the talent sometimes, where somebody can play the bad cop and maybe sometimes you can play the good cop and massage the egos a little bit.
Yeah. This is
it's not me, man. It's the editor who wants this.
Yeah. Listen, can you just work with them on this, please? Just get it to where it needs to be, and I'll get rid of them. Don't worry about it. But we gotta get through this project.
One of the biggest lessons I ever learned was early on when I first started. This was like in the early 90s, right? I was working with these two artists. Both of them went on to work at Marvel and DC. Both of these guys, right? One of them's a professional inker. He inked like Iron Man. He inked a bunch of stuff over at DC. The other guy was an illustrator, done a bunch of stuff, still active in the community. Right? Now, I got the penciler. He penciled something for me, and I got this inker, and I was like, ink that. I was like, fine. The inker finishes it, brings it to me, says, listen, he says, man, there's a bunch of issues with it. I had to fix it up, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what's wrong with this guy, blah, blah. I know he's cool people, but whatever. But I fix it. I show the inks to the penciler, and the penciler's like, what the F? Why did he do this? Everything he said he fixed, he said he got wrong. It was hilarious. So it taught me something. And the thing is, I looked at the piece, it looked perfectly fine. When it was penciled, it looked perfectly fine. When it was inked, it looked perfectly fine. And I was like, you're both full of shit. I don't know what you're talking about. It looks good. I could probably pull this piece out today because I still have it somewhere in my closet. And everybody be like, yeah, what's wrong? And so it's really, really funny learning that lesson very early on. It was very important to understand that sometimes you have to have that middle ground where you have to listen to everybody and you have to try to pay attention to what they're saying. And you have to understand that there's a little bit of ego involved, right? And you have to sometimes set your own to the side,
Yeah.
And, when it comes down to artists
I
making
set my ego to the side for nobody. Check yourself, son.
when I'm working with artists and I see a mistake, I tend to stop what I'm doing, close the email, I take a walk around the park, right? And then I'll come back a day later, and that's when I'll answer that. That's when I'll address the issue, right? I'll always tell them, I say, I'll get back to you, right? I try not to address it at that moment, especially if I'm feeling emotional about it. I'll be like, you know what? Let me step back. Let me walk around the park. Let me think about this. Maybe I'll go discuss it with someone else. But I will definitely. But I've learned that over years because early on I would just be like, "What the f?" And I've put knives through pages. I've done crazy shit.
Really?
A physical. It was a Bowie knife. It was a big one too.
Hold on a second.
But let me tell you,
How much
the
money?
next page came out awesome.
How much money are you making that you have your own park that you can walk around? I mean, we're making fun of Marcus for getting all these lines of credit. Tom Hutchison has his own fucking lake. I mean, how much money you guys making?
It's called Central Park, bro. It's like right down in the city, man. You can go there too.
Randy's buying fucking high price licensing fucking material over here. You know, he's doing.
I had a page of original artwork once from a book that I loved. That it was one of the. To me, it was a key book. Still is a key book in my mind. Got a page of original art. Tracked down the penciler for it. The penciler looked at it and, oh my God! Did you like this shit? I said I love this because he hates. The inker just killed me. It was this piece of crap when I saw it printed and I hated it. And he signed it and he says, "Well, I'm glad you liked it." And it set me on my way. I tracked the inker down. The inker looked at it and went, "You like this shit?" Says, "That guy was an asshole. I hate this." I says, "I loved it." He says, "Well, the same reaction. Glad you liked it." And he signed it and sent me on my way. So art is subjective, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the one thing I've learned is take a deep breath, walk around the block, come back.
I made a killing reselling that piece of artwork. I'm telling you.
Nice.
Yeah.
What actor were you trying to mimic there? He's an asshole. Who you say extended words?
Both of them almost said it the exact same way.
Do you still have the art that you stabbed?
No, that's long gone. That's all. Listen, I was 17, 18 years old at the time.
Oh, okay.
So was the artist. We were very young. We were still in high school.
Understandable. I would put knives and things all the time at that age.
Yeah, it was. But I'm telling you though, the next page came out really nice.
Well, you probably didn't want to get fucking shaped, JD.
Yeah, that's right. Did he see you stab it? Is that?
Yeah, he was in the room. He was sitting right next to me.
There you go. Lesson learned.
Yep, I threw the page up in the air. I was like, "What is this shit?" And it was just like,
that's one way to get what you want.
Yeah. And what's funny is we're still the best of friends to this day.
Nice.
Yeah. So So Damion, answer your own question. What do you got?
So, as the artist in this scenario, stay away from knives. No. So I come at this from two different perspectives. I feel like as an artist, from the time like your parent puts that first picture you drew on the refrigerator door to the first paid gig you get, there's a sense of wanting to create something, and I call that the artiste. And then there is my graphic design background, where your job from jump is to take someone else's idea and create it from nothing. Take their complete concept and go and talk to them, work with them, interact with them, make them feel comfortable because they're paying your rent or your bills or whatever. And that trade, there's the tradesman and the artiste. And I think for every artist, that's the balance. And you can see from their attitude when they get feedback, constructive criticism or not, which side they lean towards. And it's really hurtful, I think, to lean more towards that artiste, because it is you're getting paid to do work. You know, there is that trade aspect, but they want you to be, or I say you, sorry, gentlemen. They want you to be that artiste for them in that moment. And so you have to have, like what Randy was saying, you have to have that constant communication.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be, you know, it's, I feel like it's a little bit of everything everybody said. You know, you have to be willing to hear what the fuck. Like, you have to be willing to go, okay, my ego is not so big that every line I make, every stroke I make is simple perfection. You know, you have to leave a little leeway that maybe you didn't understand something, or, you know, and walk that line. You know what I mean? Like, walk that line between that trade and artiste aspect, all the while working with your writer, working with the person that gave you the script, your editor, or whoever, you know, and making sure that you're turning in the work they need. Because it's like you said, you know, if you really understand what you're doing, especially if you're doing comics, there are who knows how many other people right behind you or right in front of you on that same tightrope, walking it with you. And if you don't think of them at the same time, you're doomed to fail. Yeah. And I think a lot of times artists that have either, you know, I've worked a lot in my possible ignorance. I've worked a lot on my own things. And a lot of that is because there are things about myself that I understand that I'm not at a capacity to be able to work with someone else, because I want to give them 100%. And if I can't give them 100%, I'd rather walk away from it and just say, thank you for the offer, or not even ask, because I want to give them what they need. But I have worked with other artists, and I have had to like kind of sit them down and go, you don't suck, but we have like a paradigm, or have a level we're trying to meet. You just got to meet that level. Like, and then I don't think there's any shame in asking that, you know, any problem with asking that, as any creator. You know, the buck stops here, like Marcus said, literally the buck stops here. You know, you may get that pinup, you may get that small job that could lead to the next thing, but if you're not working with them as much as you are producing good artwork simultaneously, then you're not going to get that next offer. And word spreads. You know, you got to keep your attitude to yourself.
I've let people go after I paid them for a few pages of work.
Oh yeah, I've done the same. Yeah, I mean, it's always. I mean, I know. The thing is with Oswald, my character, this guy, you know, my magical mouse. He's not the easiest character to draw, right? It's not like, you know, any guy who can draw Superman could probably draw Batman, who could probably draw Thor, could probably draw Wonder Woman, but ask them to draw a magical mouse and they freak out a little bit, right? I've had it happen. To professionals, right? Like, I've gone to conventions and they'll be like, oh, I don't know, right? And they just look at you and I'm like, okay. But I've gotten people who I thought could do it and they just can't. And then I've gotten other people I said, there's no fucking way, and they just bang it out. Because there's some pros who just can do it, and there's some people just can't. It's just really surprising. But I have to approach with just like, look, let's just do a pinup with just one character, and then we'll go from there. And then if they could draw the character and I could see that they can get a grasp of it, then I move forward. But you know, it's usually like 1 in like 4, you know, 1 in 3 that I have some kind of weird thing like that. It's just like, you know, I have a folder. And I may print this as a book one day. It says, these are the ones that didn't make it, and just outline why. You know, just like, you know, like these are the images that didn't make it. And it's not because they're bad artists. You understand? It's just they couldn't interpret the character the way I like. You know, they were interpreted the way they like. That's fine. I says, but, you know, if it's not to where I want it, I'm the one paying the bills. So, you know, it has to be the way I want it. You know?
That's exactly it. At the bottom line is the person with the money. The person who's paying for the project is the one that's has to be satisfied.
Right. Exactly.
So
you know.
I do a lot of commercial work, especially sequential art, advertising, that kind of thing. And it gets to a point I've found out sometimes painfully that when you put yourself into a lot of that commercial work, when you're really proud of that commercial work, that's exactly not what the client wants. They want something that's
Yes.
that in your mind is sterile, has no heart or
Mhm.
soul into it,
Yes.
and they're paying the bills, that's what they get.
Yep.
You know,
Mhm.
and that
Exactly.
I've had that happen to me a lot more times than I care to recount. This is really cool. This would look good if this was like this and this. No. Character.
Yep.
Speech, character, speech, characters. Yeah.
Mhm.
Talking heads. Yeah. That
Yep.
kind of stuff.
Sometimes-
And that's
Absolutely.
what, not to interrupt, sorry,
No,
but
No.
that's why I have done a lot more graphic design work
Mhm.
than I have working on other people's comic work because
Mhm.
or other concepts or whatever. Because to me, being able to go, not that I put that little effort into it, but even try to put a little bit of myself into everything I'm doing, but that feeling of like, well, I can do this in my sleep, versus I want to put myself out there and into this.
Mhm.
Graphic design work is super easy for me, and it's very, but when I do a comic page, I want it to be perfect.
Yeah.
And
I've
yes.
got the opposite side of that. I've had like some of my best stories not been done because artists have refused to draw them, usually when it's controversial.
Okay.
Fred Hembeck, he ended up doing a story for me back when he was taking freelance work. He doesn't do that anymore. But he refused to draw my main suggestion for a story, which was Osama bin Laden being alive and going house to house, bombing them in an airplane, and he thought that was too controversial for him to draw. So that story never got done. I got a few others that usually, so I've had really conservative artists, say, I can't do that. Come up with something else. So
Sometimes it's cultural things. Like I learned a lot of artists from the Philippines won't draw nipples.
That's
Wow. That's interesting. Yeah.
That's funny.
Hmm.
That is funny.
I mean, like not even the bump in a shirt kind of thing.
No, that's I have to look into that one. All right,
Yeah.
gentlemen, we've made it to the second hour. We're gonna wrap this up. So, Randy, please, where they can find you and your work, sir?
You can find my work, aerocomics.store. There's a whole wide variety of stuff there, superheroes, fantasy, all sorts of things that I've done, as well as other folks. You'll find Luke Stone's hybrids up there, and the store is really going to be growing in this next year. We've got some great talent coming on board that'll be part of Aero Comics in the very, very near future. I'm really excited about that. I do a podcast also on the Indy Comics, 2 podcasts on the Indy Comics Network. Friday morning at 5 a.m., believe it or not. I do Comics by Night, where we take a look at some great old sequential artwork. We've looked at Watchmen. We spent an episode on every issue. We went over the Ballad of Halo Jones. We're currently doing Two-Fisted Tales. And then on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m., we have the Sunday Funnies, which is the more unusual types of comics and sequential artwork, comic strip work, the stuff that really inspires us, and the oddball material. Right now, we're going through Wednesday Comics, which was a weekly newspaper that DC did for 3 months that went out to the retailers with the best artists and the best of their properties. It's just really prime work that has an experiment that was long overlooked and completely forgotten by today's corporate comics. Stuff like that over on Sunday Funnies, 9 a.m. at the Indie Comics Network. So you can catch me there. And there's if you want to catch my latest work, Comics Unlimited magazine, available on Amazon. Issue number 14 has a 6-page short story of my little cartoon monkey and my experiences here in the States with Doctor Who, and my relationship with that from when I was a kid all the way up to current time. It was a lot of fun to do. And that's really where you can find me right away, but mostly Aero Comics, aerocomics.store.
All right, cool. Marcus, where can they find you and your work, sir?
Yep, just be sure to head over to odysseycomics.com and check everything out from there. We'll also be updating the site soon. We'll, of course, be having Phantasmic, which will be launching towards the end of the month, but we'll also be putting out an announcement this week on a brand new title we'll also be publishing this year. A lot of news is going to be coming out soon, so be sure to check our site out there. Be sure to follow Phantasmic on Kickstarter. We got some dope early bird rewards that we're going to be doing and some really awesome talent is going to be joining the team. And as always, if anybody's out there looking to pitch anything, send any submissions in. Odyssey Comics takes submissions 24/7. You can do that right through our website.
Cool. Perry, where can they find your work, sir?
Sure. The crowdfunder is at crowdfunder.com/paragonscomic. That is crowdfunder with no e.com. Paragon's Comic. You can back the comic there. You can. It's already finished. It's about to go out soon, so you can still pick it up. My other stuff, you can find out my novel work at percivalconstantine.com. And I also have a podcast too. It's called Superhero Cinephiles. We talk about superhero movies and TV shows. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, you can check that out at any of the podcast services.
Oh, nice.
Cool. Ben, where can they find your work, sir?
Okay, Scattered Comics is at scatteredcomics.com, and on that first page, you'll see the Night Owl 2-in-1 underneath the comic book campaign. If you're interested in any more of my back stuff, click under creators, Ben Tinsley. It'll pretty much show you everything I've done. If you have any specific questions that those things do not answer, you can email me at Ben Tinsley Drama Shaman, BENTINSLEY, Drama Shaman at outlook.com. Also on the Scattered Comics profile, you'll also see a few of my film acting clips. So
Nice. Mr. Damion.
You mean when I'm not incarcerated?
Yes.
Okay, sweet.
You can put a cell block number. Go ahead.
Around the yard. Excuse me, around the yard.
How many cigarettes for one comic?
I don't smoke anymore, so we'll have to work some out. Maybe some ramen packets.
Twinkies?
You go too expensive, brother.
Cheetos.
Can of tuna, some cup of soup. You know what I mean? Excuse me, no can of tuna. Package of tuna.
Sorry. You can see me on my website, ruomniversal.com. Check out everything I've done up to now. Right now, I'm working on a coloring book for Grindhouse Pro Wrestling.
Cool.
It's a local outfit out of Louisville. I mean, really good people, top-notch wrestling, and I'm trying to make a coloring book out of it. It's coming out really well. As soon as that artwork's ready to go, I'll be showing that around. And, of course, I'm working with Andy Floyd on Realm X, which has been a long time coming, but it will be coming this year. Or I will have died. And somebody else will be making it.
don't do that, dude.
No, I mean, no. I mean, like, accidentally.
Okay.
I'll make some bad art. Somebody will throw a knife. I mean.
All right. Jay, where can they find you?
UnstoppableComics.com. You can find all of my social media links on the website. You can find updates on the website. But next week, not Instagram, excuse me, Kickstarter, Shield of the Interceptor #5, The Golden Moon Part 1 drops. And be there, because that free gift will only be available that first 24 hours. After that, you won't have to pay for it if you want.
Okay. Very nice. Like I said, I've been gone. We've been gone for the last couple of weeks. I have just finished fulfilling my last campaign about 3 days ago. So all the packages are out the door. So, of course, what does that mean? I'm launching tomorrow at noon. So the Oswald Chronicles, again, will fly. So
Is that what the hell happened per your title?
Yes. No. That's nothing to do with the title. It was a bunch of other stuff. There was a bunch of other drama that was going on about the industry dying and all this other stuff. And I was
right.
Yeah, and then again, once I started thinking about it again, and I was just, you know what, I really don't give a shit about any of that. But the Oswald Chronicles, again, will be launched tomorrow. And for the first 45 physical backers, we have a coaster and a pin. And, of course, I'm not prepared because I don't have them here with me. But they will be on the campaign. If you pledge, you will get those. So thank you so much, everybody. And please check out the show notes. All those links are in there, so you can save up everybody's campaigns, or for the active campaigns, go in there, pick up a book. Everybody here deserves pledges. They're all awesome books. So thank you so much, everybody. Just remember, buy more indie comics, especially ours. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Later.
Awesome to meet all you guys.
See ya. Yeah.
Likewise.